The Expanded Black Music Moment is brought to you by the Clean Store. Today we honor Otis Redding. Otis Redding is considered one of the greatest singers in the history of American music, specifically soul music and rhythm and blues. He got much of his inspiration from gospel music, and his singing style influenced many other soul artists of the 1960s and beyond. He was born into a family of sharecroppers in Dawson, Georgia in 1941. He began playing piano, guitar, and drums at an early age, and like so many other black artists, he was singing in the church choir. He was even performing on radio station WIBB out of Macon, Georgia every Sunday. He quit school at age 15 to support his family, working as a well digger, a gas station attendant, and as a musician. He played often with Little Richard's backing band, the Upsetters, after Richard left rock and roll for the gospel world, and he performed in talent shows at the historic Douglas Theater in Macon, Georgia. He often mentioned what an influence both Little Richard and Sam Cooke had on him. He spent time touring the South on the Chitlin circuit as a member of Pat T. Cake and the Mighty Panthers, and an unscheduled appearance on a Stax record label recording led him to signing with the label and releasing his first single, These Arms of Mine, in '62. This song later appeared on his first full-length Stax album, Pain in My Heart, in 1963. He went on to have tremendous success with Stax, producing numerous hits. His most famous song is The Timeless Dock of the Bay, went to number 1 in 1968, and some of his other well-known tunes were Mr. Pitiful, Try a Little Tenderness, and the one we will hear today, Hard to Handle. He also recorded a famous live album at Harlem's famed Apollo Theater, and another one on his European tour. He was mostly playing to black audiences, but in 1966 he began to have crossover success. He played the Fillmore in San Francisco in December of 1966, in what Bill Graham called the best gig I ever put on in my entire life. The opening band that night was none other than the Grateful Dead, and they were most definitely impacted by the experience. Bob Weir mentioned that the Redding show was one of his few experiences as an audience member where he was brought involuntarily to his feet. In 1967, he was the closing act on Saturday of the Monterey Pop Festival, backed by the famous Stax house band Booker T and the MGs. Steve Cropper was the guitar player in this. You've seen those guys in the Blues Brothers band. And Steve Cropper was actually his co-writer for Dock of the Bay. This performance at Monterey was the turning point in Redding's career and brought him enormous success with the mainstream audience. He wrote many of his songs as well as songs for other artists. Some of these would include sweet soul music for Arthur Connolly, and one of the most famous tunes of all time, Respect, which he originally recorded himself, but it became Aretha Franklin's biggest hit. His hallmark was his raw voice and ability to convey strong emotion, and he was a huge influence on many, ranging from rock artists like Led Zeppelin, Leonard Skinner, and Janis Joplin, to R&B artists including Al Green, Marvin Gaye, and Etta James. And of course on the Grateful Dead as well, specifically Pigpen and Bob Weir. He won Grammy Awards, including the Lifetime Achievement Award, and is a member of both the Songwriters Hall of Fame and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Rolling Stone has him listed at number 21 of the 100 greatest artists of all time, and 5 of his albums are in their top 500 of all time. Unfortunately, Redding died in a plane crash while on the road at the age of 26, but his songs and influence live on to this day. Redding wrote and recorded Hard to Handle just prior to his death, and it was released posthumously. It was immediately covered by many artists, and the Dead debuted it in March of 1969. It started out as an opener, but eventually it evolved into a great jam vehicle with extended guitar solos and some classic Pigpen rapping. It became a staple of the show and was played over 100 times from 1969 to 1971. So here is Otis Redding and the original version of Hard to Handle.
On the scene, I can give you what you want, but you got to go home with me. I forgot some good old love, and then I got some in store. When I get through throwing it on you, you got to come back for more. Boys and things will come by the dozen, but that ain't nothing but drugstore loving. Pretty little thing, let me light your count, cause mama, I'm sure hard to handle now, yes around. Lighter than word, and I'm a man with a great experience. I know you got you another man, but I can love you better than him. Take my hand, don't be afraid. I wanna prove every word I say. love for free, so won't you praise your ass with me? Boys will call my dime by the dozen, but that ain't nothing but 10-cent love. Pretty little thing, let me light your count, cause mama, I'm sure hard to hell and I, yes I am. Baby, here I am, I'm a man on the scene. I can give you what you want, just come go home with me. I got some good old loving and I got better in store. When I get through throwing it on you, you got to come back for more. Boys will call my dime by my dozen, but that ain't nothing but drugstore love. Pretty little thing, let me light the counter, called mama, I'm sure hard to hell and I, yes I am. Give me some good old love, some of your good love. I'm a big old man.